What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Cave News, your one-stop shop for all the video game news that you need to know. I am one of your hosts, Zach, joined along with, in the great blue mountains, stalks a mighty beast. He once terrorized the land, but was cursed by a powerful fairy to never kill again, except to feed himself on the overpopulated wildlife. The once fierce dragon, Griga, the bunny killer.
I like that, actually. So, Griga the bunny killer.
The bunny
okay.
killer.
It's like when the exposition's like feed on wildlife, you would think more than just bunnies, but hey, you know, if that's my main source of sustenance, I'll take it.
Hey, you know,
rabbits are more lean, or bunnies are more lean in meat, so
yeah. But you know, like I think you would be like pretty quick as a dragon then. Like you're not eating like fatty stuff, like you know what I mean? Like you're not eating like oxen or pigs. You're eating bunnies, so you're gonna be like in fighting shape.
Yeah,
fighting shape. You know what I mean?
I'll be in better fighting shape than Smaug.
Yeah, he was lazy. He just sat around.
Yeah. Yep.
He must have been really hungry though. You know what I mean? Like he'd been like sleeping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because, I mean, you got to think, when people realize who's in there, they stay away from there. So it's like, how do you get your food source, my guy?
Yeah, it's like, are you just eating little birds?
Something.
You know what I mean?
You're not eating your gold, that's for sure.
No. He's not like Lucky Charms where, you know, pot of gold's like part of it.
It's not magically delicious.
Yeah, no, it's not magically delicious. Murdoch, nice build up. Thanks, man. You would have to commit bunny genocide before he got full. You know, that's okay. That's okay. Have you ever seen a bunny fight? They're vicious. They'll go for the jugular.
Interesting.
They'll go for the jugular.
I've not seen a bunny fight.
Ooh, it's horrifying. But he was rich. Smaug was rich, but was he really wealthy though?
He was rich, but was he happy?
Yeah. You know, you look at Frodo. He had all those friends. He was wealthy.
And he almost turned on him.
Yep. Guys, you can become part of the ship and the part of the exclusive crew by going over to patreon.com/nerdcave, just like our wonderful crew members, Brandon Hicks, Richard Newell, Daniel Sanford, Rushing Water Yoga, the conductor, Marilyn James, Martin Sager, and Brittany, the Granny Bee Harrison. Derek, where can you find the Nerd Cave?
You can find us on a variety of platforms such as Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Watch us live each and every week for our pre- and post-show shenanigans, or go over to YouTube to watch the replay of the show. If you like bite-sized nuggets of gaming news, check us out on TikTok. Search Nerd Cave Network on any platform, and you will find us.
You'll find us. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be open. Say the words.
I'm the one who knocks.
Say the words. Super Trooper.
You know you want to.
Guys, we've got a game club going on right now on the months of June and July. June's already done. July's halfway there, guys. So you better get on it. Doggone it.
We're halfway there.
Oh, I need to play the game.
On a prayer.
Guys, we're playing Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete edition. That is with the Frozen Wilds DLC. So check it out. Come be a part of it. We've got awesome discussions and clips being shared each and every week on the show. And we have 2 Discord channels going on where spoilers are talked about and non-spoilers are being put in there. So come be a part of that. Once we finish this month, we're going to have a kind of like community discussion time. We'll set up a time and everything, probably in August. That way everybody's had the chance to fully get through July. Like I'm going to need all of July to get through Horizon Zero Dawn, to be able to discuss about it and everything. But this is a community thing, so come be a part of that. It is going to be awesome. Horizon Zero Dawn's great, guys, if you haven't played it. And you can get on PC if you don't have a PlayStation. Yep. If I say the name 3 times, will you show up like the Candyman? It's too much walking.
I thought Candyman was 5 times.
Beetlejuice is 3 times. I think Candyman is 5 times.
I think Bloody Mary's also 3 times too.
Yeah. I hear she's only making drinks these days, though.
Yeah. You gotta take it easy.
Yeah.
You know, COVID hit all of us hard.
You know, you got to do what you got to do in this day and age, guys.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the gaming discussion for this week. Derek, is your body ready?
It was born ready.
New Xbox update will allow parents to set limits to keep their kiddies from splurging on microtransactions. And I know this is a big thing. Them kids getting them credit cards and running up them bills.
Yeah. Especially on Fortnite. Can you tell this first one was aimed for you, Zach?
Oh, I know.
But the Xbox Family Settings app is getting an update that will allow parents and guardians to set spending limits on microtransactions for their children. Xbox announced this news today, revealing that parents and caregivers have been requesting options to track and manage their child's spending since last year. The next Xbox Family Settings app update will finally bring these options and more to the app. The first of 3 spending limit related features coming to the app is the ability for parents to set spending limits. Parents and caregivers will be able to manage how much their child spends on games, microtransactions, and more by adding money directly to the Xbox account in the app. Xbox says this new feature is a great way for parents to reward their children for good grades, for example, or as part of their weekly allowance if they have one. The second spending limit feature coming to the app is an ask to buy option. When this is turned on, the parent or caregiver will receive a notification each time their child wants to make a purchase that they don't have the sufficient funds to make. Quote, parents can make the purchase on their child's behalf if it's a game or app, or add money to their account for an in-game purchase, like a new skin or accessory. And if you don't want to approve the purchase, simply select the deny button on the notification you receive. The third new spending limit related feature coming to the Xbox Family Settings app is the ability to view a child's account balance. If someone is interested in how much money their child has left on their account, they can review that balance at any time and add additional funds if they'd like to. Quote, parents can also view their child's spending history to keep track of their recent purchases. We know it's important to parents to track and manage their children's spending when they game to avoid an unexpected surprise to any unexpected surprises or bills. With these new features, parents are empowered to customize their family's access to spending money in games or in the Microsoft Store to fit what's right for them. Xbox's blog post detailing these upcoming features does not list a date for the update, so it's unclear when these features will go live in the app.
Baron says, but EA said loot boxes are surprise mechanics integral to gameplay. Did EA lie to us?
They always lie to us.
They always do.
Murdoch, surprise, EA.
I think this is great. This is something that is needed. You know, my opinions on microtransactions and all of that. You know,
you love them, right?
Yep, I love them as much as God loves sin. But you know, like you think about it, it does, like B said, seem smart to me. Surprised it took this long. Yeah, and you know, it just makes sense. It makes sense, and I think, you know, you will see PlayStation and Nintendo do something like this because they both do have games on their platforms that are microtransaction based. You know, parents being able to control how much money is going into it. You know, it's like, okay, you get this much per month, or, you know, you have it where it's like, okay, I can approve, you know, purchase by purchase, you know, that sort of deal, and see the purchase history. You know, like, you don't want your kids getting into like weird stuff, that sort of deal. So it's a more transparent way for parents to, you know, have an overview. Like, the more parents are involved with this, the more their kids will appreciate it. I know that sounds weird, but like, parents that might not understand gaming, the more you put into it, like, you're going to see your kid like actually like want to spend time with you because you're seeing value in what they're doing. You know, Terry Crews is a great example of this. Like, his kid wanted to get into, you know, gaming and everything, and he helped him build a PC, and he's very, you know, into like what his son is into. And that's because his dad wasn't like that. His dad didn't want anything to do with what he was into. So he wanted to be, more about that.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I don't know what just happened.
I don't know what happened either.
Everything just went blank on my screen, guys.
No.
Yep. 2 of my monitors are just black.
Fantastic.
I'm assuming we're still live. I don't know. Everything's loading up.
Yeah.
I'm getting display is going to sleep. Okay. I got a display back. Let's see.
Okay.
There we go. Things are loading back up. We're still live, guys. Sorry about that. But that was, okay. Derek is still not live. His face is all
interesting,
all frozen macated. But yeah, that, the more we're involved with like our kids and like, what they're interested in, they're not going to feel like freaks or weirdos or, that sort of deal. And I think that's, one of the biggest issues with, parent to kids relations. Like you're wanting to, be their best friends, but you're not wanting to, actually have something meaningful. Dan, my kids' allowance will be the privilege of having a roof over their heads. That's fair as well. I'm going to close out Discord real quick and try to get him back in. You insulted our EA overlords. They know. Everyone scatter now. I'm a gamer parent, so you want skins for you, and skins for you, and skins for you. B, I gave Ivy a fake card number once, and she acted surprised it didn't work. I didn't want her to accidentally buy stuff my info on her account. Yeah, and that's okay, because like kids have, until they know what money actually is, like it's harder for them to understand like the value of $1 and everything. So I'm just trying to get Discord and everything back up for us here. All right. All right. Do.
You and our EA overlords, they know. Everyone's scattered now.
The metal bikinis from my character, not theirs. Oh,
all right.
And to each his own.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I just lost one of my monitors. I think my graphics card, one of my graphics cards died tonight.
Oh no.
Give me a rip and chat.
R.I.P.
Give me a rip and chat, guys.
Big rip.
Oh, feels bad, bro. All right. WWE now has Reeves train. Oh, okay. I got you. Thank you guys for the rest in peace. Moving on to our next bit of news, now that we've got everything running again.
Yeah.
Rumor, Judgment series could end due to dispute between Sega and actor
Takuya Kimura's
talent agency. Thank you, Derek, for saving me on that one, because I was about to butcher it.
What was the name you butchered last week? I forget.
Oh, dude, I don't even remember, but it was bad. I could do it like I used to do, like the old Nerd Cave podcast. When I'd get to a name that I didn't know, I'd just do like Harrison Ford mumbling.
I mean, let's not forget the infamous Julie Bingers.
you know.
Yeah.
So tell us about this, Derek.
So, Sega's Judgment franchise could be wrapping up prematurely due to an ongoing dispute between the video game developer and the talent agency for series actor Takuya Kimura. That's at least according to Japanese outlet Nikkan Taishu, which interviewed someone familiar with the situation. The issue stems from Sega wanting to expand Judgment's appeal with a PC version, which was stopped by Kimura's talent agency due to a strict portraiture policy. Sega wasn't too happy with this, understandably, and has reportedly decided to end the Judgment series with the upcoming second installment, Lost Judgment. The portraiture policy with the talent agency details that they do not want their clients' portraits on a, quote, PC platform that is not a game console platform and connects directly to internet. It's a weird little thing. While you could just assume that Sega could change actors for the main character, Kimura-san just so happens to be a hugely successful actor and singer in Japan, which means he'd be a nightmare to recast. Obviously, this should be taken as a speculation for now until Sega makes some sort of official announcement, but if it's the real deal, then it's a huge blow for Yakuza and Judgment fans alike. I know this was just, we covered it last week. It was a big trailer in the State of Play.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's getting hot and heavy. It's coming out in late September. I know Judgment was a new series they were picking up. Like, I know when they said, "Oh, we're doing a new IP that's sort of like Yakuza, but it's Detective Yakuza,"
Mm-hmm.
everyone was like, "What do you mean?" Like, and now it was a hit when the first game came out, and with Lost Judgment, it looks even better. And you thought, all right, they've got a new thing on their hands to like. While the Yakuza team works on that,
Yeah.
the Judgment team could be working on this one. But if this is true, the series may end sooner. And I hate it for them because you just, it seems like you struck gold again. Like I said, maybe they, because with Yakuza, it was like 6 games before they changed protagonists, because it was Kazuma Kiryu for the longest one, and then they changed I forget the name of the protagonist in the new one, but they changed actors, the main protags in Like a Dragon, and that seemed to have, like, that one did gangbusters new. So maybe after the second one they could just do like maybe not a spin-off, but like introduce a new character to the franchise, because I hate for it to, after it just got off the ground, to already hit rock bottom again,
Yeah, and I hate that this is potentially happening to the series and everything. I'm sure there's a way to work around it. Like you were saying, it's a very weird like issue to have. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like specifically the PC, it's like, you do realize you guys put PC games out too, right? Like, I don't understand this whole like likeness thing. Like, that's something that's not a console. It's like that seems, I don't know if it was a mistranslation or what, or someone, like maybe whoever was mad was a little intoxicated and then they misspoke. I don't know. Like, it seems like a very oddly specific thing to get mad over.
Yeah, and for me, it might be just a way for this actor to get more money, like a negotiation chip type deal. Like, we can only kind of speculate, like, is it a translation error? Is it, like a PC like murdered their family and they don't like, computers?
Maybe. I don't know. Like, well, and you brought up an interesting point here. It's like, oh, does he want more money? It's funny that a lot of these disputes, when it seems like it's over petty stuff and it comes out to light later down the road, it was actually over something entirely unrelated. Maybe because if he's a big actor and a big singer over in Japan, maybe he was like, look, you're gonna have to raise my price if you want me to continue on. And they're like, nah, we're not paying you extra. Sorry, bud. We're already going to pay you the agreed upon amount when you did this, when you signed up the first time. We're not increasing our budget. And he's like, all right, well then I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I think that might be a
better explanation.
Yeah, I think that might be the reason is like, they're not willing to pay what he's wanting to get paid. Like, he's a big actor and everything, but this does bring in, Baron Kraken brought this point. Just stop using likenesses in games and go back to character designs with professional voice actors. Like, you don't have these problems. Like, look at, like, I know the first Last of Us had some issues with like them making Ellie look too much like Ellie Page.
Ellen Page, or Elliot Page.
Page now, yeah. But other than that, like, all of them were voice actors. Like, none of them looked necessarily like their characters. Like Troy Baker, he plays Joel, but he doesn't look like Joel. Like, they mocapped him and everything, but it's not like, okay, that's his likeness. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you see that,
because there are some with like Troy Baker, like Infamous Second Son, like that the character he plays looks like him 100%.
Yeah, isn't it Sam? There's Nathan's brother, Sam.
Oh no, you're talking about Uncharted.
Okay, you said Infamous?
Infamous Second Son.
Did I play?
The guy with the
Oh yeah,
beanie.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. It looks.
looks
Oh yeah,
exactly like
yeah,
him.
definitely. So you've got some that are that are way closer to that side of stuff, and then you got some that are just designed. Like you think about Miles Morales. Like I haven't seen the actor that plays Miles Morales, but I'm sure it's not like 100% on there. But like there's different examples that we can look at. But it's like you get into these situations when you do likenesses.
Yeah.
So,
So
I mean, it made sense to have actors when you had to film video cutscenes like Mark Hamill and Wing Commander Tim Curry and CC and Red Alert. If it is digital, you don't need to do that. True. That Tim Curry and Command and Conquer. Oh man, Spice. Like I remember X-Play making fun of that, but hey, it's Tim Curry. You can't knock Tim Curry.
right.
Anyway, moving on. Speaking of EA overlords, the EA panels for the EA Play we got some details. The future of first-person shooter showcase talks Battlefield 2042 and the franchise's history. A DICE GM says the cloud computing will bring big changes to first-person shooters in just a couple of years. The future of independent studios under the EA Originals banner is also going to be an EA panel.
Yeah. So addressing the FPS, excuse me. Battlefield 2042 is an FPS experience set in the near future that challenges players to become something called a non-patrioted patrioted after a refugee crisis overtakes what we know to be everyday life. The multiplayer experience is also going back to what Battlefield has done best in the past, giving players ultimate freedom, with map verticality. 2042 is bringing the series back to its roots, now with weaponized tornadoes, and during the EA Play Future of FPS showcase, we got a closer look at what the FPS has in store. When asked by IGN's Stella Chung, what's the secret to making a good FPS? Respawn founder Vince Zampella replied with a simple yet effective, a good team. This is also the driving strategy behind the recent rebranding of DICE LA into Ripple Effect Studios. Once called DICE LA, Ripple Effect will take the same team and make it even bigger with members from all sorts of creative backgrounds. This fresh perspective on game development is perfect given that Ripple Effect has confirmed that it is working on another project in conjunction with Battlefield 2042, adding a multitude of voices to creatively drive new experiences for the future. Ripple Effects Studios general manager Oscar Gabrielson talked a little more about Hazard Zone in Battlefield 2042, a high-stakes co-op mode, something that is really contemporary. He said that this is not a standard Battle Royale experience, it's more in line with what Battlefield fans can expect while relying on being good on your feet, digitally speaking. And then, of course, there's a video below that goes into more of an in-depth thing. But then going to the cloud computing thing you brought up, the next major tech innovation that will drive first-person shooters like Battlefield will be cloud computing, DICE GM Oscar Gabrielson says. Speaking today, during today's Future FPS stream, Gabrielson said the tech is still, quote, a couple years away, but that it stands to have a large impact on the genre. Quote, cloud computing has really changed a bunch of other industries, and gaming has barely touched on it. So if you think about a game like Battlefield, we have things like AI in the game now, destruction, actual procedural level creation, and the next-gen consoles. They are, of course, super powerful, but if we move much of that logic out to the cloud, we can do some really high-scale computing that we haven't been able to do in the past. Destruction, visual fidelity. I think it's just a couple years away, and then you'll see some pretty cool shooter games out there, I'd imagine, but we'll see. Asked if cloud computing might impact Battlefield 2042, which is due later this year, Gabrielson smiled and said no comment. The possibility of cloud computing enhancing console power has been discussed for close to a decade now. When the Xbox One was first announced way back in 2013, Microsoft said that it would become more powerful over time thanks to the ability to offload certain game computations, but little came of it. Gabrielson, however, still seems to be a believer in the potential of the technology.
Like you look at like the Nintendo Switch. I know we talk about the cloud gaming a lot on the show, but if you're able to run a game like Hitman 3 on the Nintendo Switch and it doesn't look like trash compared to The Witcher 3, which looks like trash on the Nintendo Switch, it says a lot about the possibility for this, the cloud computing side of things, where you can be playing games like, if my PC, I think it just had a graphics card die on me. Like if you have a PC that's, got an older card in it, but you want to play the latest things at, a higher level, then, the cloud side of things can do that for you. I know we're about to get into, Valve announced something today, they're telling how powerful that's going to fully be. I think some of it is might have to take some cloud computing to be able to get the fidelity that you're wanting from these games. So, EA dipping their toes in that, I think it's going to be a good thing. So are you promoting Stadia, which is dead?
Stadia.
No, I'm not promoting Stadia, and I haven't tried Luna. Stadia is awful. I haven't tried xCloud yet. Curious to see how that is. I know there's, from what I've seen, some latency. This is more of it's not them hosting the game necessarily. It's them helping the computing power. I'm not sure how all of that technically works and everything, but if like how game design used to work, it's not as much now. Like you would have like an elevator that would load the next level. There would be locked off portions of it. If the game knew how much to load before that, like it would help load textures. It would help the heavy lifting and everything. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about necessarily streaming a game. You're doing more of the heavy lifting on a cloud service type deal.
Yeah. So going on to the EA Originals Indie Banner showcase, EA Play's Spotlight series revealed its second panel today with a focus on the independent studios underneath the EA Originals banner. This includes A Way Out Studio Hazelight, Silver Rain, and more alongside a panel of members of the EA Originals label. The panel went into the backgrounds of some of the key members of each studio represented during EA Play, including Silver Rain's co-founder Abubakar Salim and co-founder Melissa Phillips, Hazelight's Joseph Ferris, and Velen Studios co-founders Karthik and Guha Bala. Each creative mind shared their various backgrounds, including history and working in both film and television. Ferris also passionately talked about how different movies and games truly are, more than just comparing linear versus non-linear storytelling. The goal of the Spotlight is to connect the players of each studio's games with the minds behind them. It acts as a way to dive deep into the minds of these studios' leaders and see where the gaming experiences come from in terms of real-life experience, and how each developer sees the world around them. Silver Rain's Melissa Phillips also went a little further in the discussion that will interest those looking to get into the industry on the developer side, talking about the difference between having a neat idea and giving that idea the resources and life it needs to thrive. And of course, there's a video you can watch if you want to have a little more insight to watch it. So this one didn't have a lot as the other one, like, to delve into, it seems like, but I do like how EA is actually giving indie some love. Like, I know you and I, when they first announced the EA Originals, were like, okay, something new, something creative for them to do, and to fill the void while they're revamping some of these big AAA projects that they're working on. I know Hazelight in particular did A Way Out. They did It Takes Two, which you've been playing recently. So, and those have been both great games in their own right. I know they've done some other things. Unravel was great. I don't know about the second one. I know the first one was really good. So hopefully, if they see the profit in this, or well, I shouldn't say the profit, but
the
product that's being, the need in that, because they said, look, the EA Originals are basically like labors of love. We don't care if they're profitable or not. We just want to give these developers a chance.
And
which is huge for EA because they're all about profit.
Yeah, well, I think they're making money hand over fist, that they can be a little philanthropic here. You know, Hazelight in particular, like, they've been knocking it out of the park with, A Way Out, It Takes Two, Brothers something. I can't remember. It's like their first one that they did. A lot of people have been really flocking to those. Unravel, like, I played a little bit of the first one. I enjoyed it. It was, cute and kind of fun and everything. But,
Yeah.
I think that's like really the only ones that they've been having. But it does show their commitment that they have been putting out more and more of these, because on the opposite end of the microtransaction,
Sony.
I'm not even going Sony. I'm going third party here at Ubisoft. You haven't heard anything about their Ubisoft art side of things.
Nope.
And they came out really strong. Like you had like Valiant Hearts, which is an amazing game. And you had a lot.
Child of Light.
Yeah. All of these things, nothing. Was Unfinished Swan. Was that one of their games as well?
No, that was that game company, and that was I don't want to say that game, but it was partnered with Sony. It wasn't Ubisoft.
Okay. So like Ubisoft, you hadn't heard nothing. They hadn't put anything under that title in a long time. So
right,
it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that not really getting that anymore.
No.
Baron says, I'm sure EA will give us some more great stuff and keep up on updates just like Anthem. Like I 100%, like we are not EA lovers here by any means. Like what they did to my boy Mass Effect, even Mass Effect 3, like rushing that one out. And Dragon Age 2. We could go on and on.
But once they announce Jedi Fallen Order 2, we'll be, we'll be like, all right, we're excited for that. That's it.
Yeah. Now that game was good. But we'll see. We'll see if they stick to their guns in the long run. So far they have with, the EA originals and everything. I want them to grow it, because having smaller developers having money and resources to use is essential for people to develop into bigger developers. Like you look at Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog wasn't always Naughty Dog, y'all. Same thing with BioWare. Same thing with Sucker Punch or any of these.
Look at Housemarque.
Yeah,
to use a more recent example.
Yeah, Housemarque. You wouldn't get that unless there was actually like funding and someone to kind of help them along the way. Baron, what, you didn't like the mini paths in Mass Effect that pulled down to pick a color? How ungrateful. No, I didn't. Like Mass Effect was so nuanced, and then it was just like you said, it was pulled down to, you want was it red or green or blue? Like they added a third later on, but I played it before the patch. Yeah, it's a sad day. Anyway, moving on to some good news. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is a Smash Bros. Style cartoon smackdown.
Yeah, so this is interesting. It's going to be nice to see. Well, I want to say nice. It'll be interesting to see how a new competitor from a different perspective adopts the Smash Brothers formula. Many of us of a certain age love to reminisce about Nickelodeon's glory days and which Nicktoons were our favorites. These intellectual discussions sometimes devolve into fierce debates about whether Hey Arnold was a better show than the Wild Thornberrys, or if 2000s era series like Danny Phantom stacks up to the 90s classics. IGN shared the exclusive reveal of the upcoming game, which is coming later this year for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. The game is a multiplayer brawler modeled after Super Smash Bros. Up to 4 players step into the shoes of their favorite Nicktoon characters to duke it out with the goal of knocking opponents off the stage to their demise. Matches can be played locally or online, and the All-Star Brawl boasts 20 stages, such as the Loud's House's actual house, the Flying Dutchman's titular ghost ship, and TMNT's Technodrome. Here are the confirmed characters so far per the trailer. Which did I?
Yeah, you gave me a link.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So do you want? Let's watch the trailer. Well, I don't know. Do you want me to go through the characters first or watch the trailer
first? Go through the
first?
characters and then we can watch the trailer.
Okay, so there's Oblina from Ah Real Monsters, Danny Phantom from Danny Phantom, Helga Pataky from Hey Arnold, Zim from Invader Zim, Lincoln Loud from The Loud, and Lucy Loud from The Loud House, Powder Toast Man from Ren and Stimpy, Reptar from Rugrats, SpongeBob SquarePants from SpongeBob SquarePants, Patrick Star, Sandy Cheeks, also from SpongeBob, Leonardo from TMNT, along with Michelangelo, and Nigel Thornberry from the Wild Thornberries.
So they're gonna they're gonna put Hey Arnold, but not Hey Arnold in there.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna add his love interest or his but not the main character.
That's kind of weird. I'm sure they'll add more later on, though.
And I was gonna say it goes on to say we can only assume we'll get more roster additions in the coming weeks. After all, we're missing characters from popular shows such as Rocko's Modern Life, Rocket Power, the Fairly Odd Parents, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and so on.
Yeah, so we'll see what gets added, but let's take a look, guys, at the trailer. I will say it's probably going to have better internet support than Super Smash Brothers on the Nintendo with that lovely Nintendo. Hold on just a second. Let me size this up the right way. Hey-o. There we go. All right, here we go, guys. Make sure Chrome's not muted. Cool. I've only seen clips, so I'm not giving you any love over here, Derek. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I'll say, where's my video feed?
There you go, Derek. I've given you your video feed. Get off my back. I'm gonna fire Kevin after this episode.
Powdered toast, man.
I love the ice cream cone. Karate. Reptar.
Zim. And there's Danny Phantom.
Yep. Okay. Coming to PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox Series S and S, and the Xbox One. Looks pretty cool. I know we got some low quality in there.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty cool. But will it have Ren and Stimpy? I don't know. I think if they're adding Powdered Toast Man, I think you will eventually see the ones that you think should be in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
You'll eventually see those.
Yeah, eventually you'll get it.
Doesn't look very impressive to me, says Dan. TMNT says Murdoch. What are your thoughts, Derek?
It's definitely, something different, to be competitive. It's something different to throw out there and be competitive with Smash Brothers if you want to consider it competitive.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I know we saw a little bit sprinkled in here and there, but I want to see the mechanics. Are there going to be items you can use in the game? Will there be stage hazards? Like, how much of a Smash clone will this be?
Yeah.
So it looks promising. I was always more Cartoon Network than I was Nickelodeon. Like I said, I watched Danny Phantom. I watched Hey Arnold. Like, I wasn't a Nicktoons hater. I just always preferred Cartoon Network a little bit more. So
same.
A lot of these I don't know about, or I know about Wild Thornberries. Never watched any of that growing up as a kid. So some of these don't hold any place in my heart, but it'll be interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, I was a Cartoon Network guy as well, or kid. But having such recognizable characters, it does put them on a better foot than most. I think they can pull in more and more characters. They can pull in current characters that they've got going on. They can pull in, past stuff to bring in the nostalgia factor, just like they're doing like Ren and Stimpy. Like if they did Rocco's Modern Life, Wild Thornberries, they've got some stuff in there, but there's a lot, Rocket Power, there's several things that they can, do to bring in the older crowd, but there's also a lot that they can do to bring in the new crowd as well. I know like we've got Brawlhalla is like a, version of Smash Brothers and everything that
pseudo version
that has a lot of crossovers. Like they had Steven Universe on there. They've had, just several different ones and all of that. So, this could be, a way to kind of
in that vein.
Get their foot in. It's not going to, usurp. I don't think we're going to see this as a esport like contender like Smash is, because Smash gets very technical at times. So I don't think we're going to see that with this.
Which now don't ask me to explain the ins and outs of what I'm about to say. Just know that it's big in the fighting game community. They did say it will have rolling netcode, which is like big. Like I know the last Guilty Gear had rolling netcode, so it's a big thing in the fighting game community. So the fact that it's having this in a game like this is going to be interesting.
I don't know what that is either, but probably something about where you're not getting as like latency, like it like locks in for both people. I don't know. That's my guesstimation. Cat Dog, maybe Murdoch. Baird says, I just want to have food Cortia from Invader Zim be a battleground. I never watched Invader Zim. I know I had a lot of people that were like that I was friends with that loved Invader Zim, but I never watched it. So hopefully, I think if this does well, you will see like how Smash has like packs where they're putting out new fighters and new arenas and all of that sort of deal. I think if it sells well enough, you will see this get legs to it. If there's a big enough community, you will see more and more come out. It's just, will it happen?
Yeah. We'll have to see.
Guys, if you're interested in getting it, put a 5 down in the chat. Let's see who's all interested in getting Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Let us know. I'm curious to see. I would definitely play it. I don't think it'd be something that I would play a ton. You know what I mean?
Oh no, 100%.
Like if I got a code, I'd play it. But after Knockout City, I'm not sure. Like I feel uneven on some of those things. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know we all had a change of heart about Knockout City, but I don't think we'll do it about this one. No. But only time will tell.
Yep. Moving on, number 5 on our list tonight, Netflix is planning to expand its services by adding video games to the streaming platform.
So I found this interesting because it says Netflix is so far generally known for their television shows and films, some of which are popular shows based off video games. But now it seems the mega streaming platform is looking to expand its services by adding video games to the list of types of media available through Netflix. The news comes from a report from Bloomberg, which states that Netflix has made their first big move towards their expansion by hiring Mike Verdu, a former Facebook and EA executive, to lead this big effort. Verdu's title will be Vice President of Game Development, and he'll be reporting directly to Netflix's Chief Operating Officer, Greg Peters. Nothing is known about what exactly Verdu's job will entail, what an expansion into video games means for Netflix, and of course what this will mean for the rest of the industry, but it is always fun to speculate. If Netflix were able to get publishers to make their games available through Netflix as a separate platform to play games on, could we then log into Netflix on our PS4, PS5, and PS4 and other devices and begin playing a game? Will this only work with mobile devices and PCs? We have many more questions, but for now, all we can say is that Netflix will be making their move into gaming sometime soon.
Murdoch brings up a poignant point here. Poignant point. Alliteration for y'all. How much are we going to have to pay? And then Dan comes in, either they keep the same price, which I highly doubt that, or they make it a separate paid service. I think it's going to be like a tiered thing. Like you look at Disney Plus, where it's like you have your base where it's just Disney Plus, and then you have ESPN, Hulu tacked on, and it's, you know, several more dollars on top of it. You know, like for me, for, you know, getting developers to be a part of this, to release their stuff on this, is going to be the hardest thing. I think you will get indies. That will be easy to get indies on there because it's another platform. A lot of people use Netflix, but I don't see a lot of triple A's like throwing their hats in there, because you look at Stadia, you look at Google, the biggest search engine, and also always the second biggest search engine, had a very hard time getting, you know, AAA games on their platform. It's also, do they have the infrastructure to actually make this work? You know, is my PlayStation controller going to work on there? Are they going to have a proprietary controller? Like, you know, there's a lot that goes into this that I like. It's intriguing, but, you know, cloud gaming is not that great at the moment.
Yeah. Well, you know, you say who's gonna be any big AAA developers. I can think of one off the bat: Ubisoft. Anytime a new piece of tech or new device comes out, they're like, we want to put our games here. Which, credit to Ubisoft, they want to be the first to, you know, port their games over to that device. At the same time, they don't care if it's profitable or not. They just care. It's like, all right, we want to be the first on this one. We don't care if it ends up like, I'm sure this whole Stadia thing, they're like, maybe we shouldn't have jumped in right from the get-go, but you know, we're here.
Yeah. You know, and from what I got from the article and everything, they're not necessarily making their own games. They're trying to get partners on there and them doing it. I think they're just trying to get a piece of the pie of the gaming industry, because the gaming industry, unlike television or movies, has grown exponentially year after year, while the other industries have kind of stayed somewhat the same. I know we've got more streaming services now than we had before, but gaming has continually like multiplied. I don't want to say doubled every year, but has grown exponentially every year, just, you know, like from microtransactions alone, you know, but you know, more people are gaming now. Like, you know, from, if you include mobile, it's majority of the planet is gaming. So
yeah. I mean, especially you think about with just Microsoft's cloud system, like they just ported cloud over to everything, like phone, like they did it on your phone first, so you can play Xbox console quality games on your phone.
Yeah, and I could see Microsoft doing that, because a lot of TVs, like I've got a TV I bought in 2012, something like that. It's a smart TV, but it does have Netflix built into it. And I know that Microsoft is trying to get onto more TVs, just like TVs essentially. So it could be a way for Microsoft to get their foot in the door. It's like, if you have Netflix on your TV, then you have access, like they do like a little firmware update, and then you get access to xCloud, right? Dab on your TV.
Right.
So could be the way. Barron says Netflix could buy WB Interactive, since rumor is that it is going up for sale.
Maybe.
Hopefully not. I don't want Netflix owning anything else that I love.
No.
I don't.
For the love of God, no.
I don't trust them. I trust them as bad as much as I trust EA.
Well, you know, that doesn't say much.
Nope, it doesn't. Moving on, some interesting news that came out today. Valve has announced their handheld Steam Deck, and pre-orders start tomorrow.
Yeah, this was like the last minute, like I came home to add what I posted this morning, and then I saw this, I'm like, we have to talk about this. Like, if it was just something like a possibility, I was like, nah, well, this can be discussed on next week's episode. But wanted to be first to the market with this one. Valve has been quiet on their hardware front for a while. That is until they announced the first big competitor to Nintendo Switch. This December, Valve will be releasing their very own handheld PC. They're calling it the Steam Deck. In a press release sent to Game Informer, Valve describes some of the hardware included in their mobile gaming device, saying, quote, Steam Deck is a powerful all-in-one portable PC with a custom processor developed in cooperation with AMD. Steam Deck is comparable to a gaming laptop with the ability to run the latest AAA games. Your Steam library will be on deck to play games wherever and whenever you want. Steam Deck is also an open PC, adding the ability to install any software or connect with any hardware. This new processor, co-developed by AMD and is optimized for handheld using AMD's Zen 2 and RDNA 2 architecture, and supports up to 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM. The Steam Deck will be available with 64, 256, and 512 gigabytes of onboard storage, which can be added onto with micro SD cards. Competing with the Switch, especially the new OLED model that was just announced, Valve has included a 7-inch 1280 by 800 pixel LCD touchscreen flanked with controls on either side. The Steam Deck features the analog sticks, buttons, including ones on the grips, and triggers you'd want on a controller. But it also has 2 trackpads like the experimental Steam controller from years ago. Another welcome addition to the device is a gyro sensor, which puts this even more in line with the features put forth by Nintendo's flagship console. Because it's not just a gaming device, the Steam Deck is set up to be docked and used like a regular computer. There will be a dock sold separately, but the unit does include a USB-C port and can be utilized for multiple peripherals, including a monitor, mouse and keyboard, or even multiple controllers to be plugged in at the same time. Valve says you can use your everyday PC applications on this mini computer, though it won't natively run Windows out of the box. So keep that in mind if you decide to purchase. Given Valve's recent history with creating their own operating system for Steam's PC, it makes sense to choose to run with their own operating system. And you won't have to wait long. Pre-orders start tomorrow, July 16th, and it will start at $400.
Like, when I saw this, I was like, okay, like, Valve has tried to get into the space of making consoles for a while. Like, they had the Steam machines a few years back, didn't really take off. They tried to do it where you have like a little box and you can connect it to your computer and then you can play in the living room. It didn't really take off. The Steam controller didn't really take off. So it's like multiple things that they have tried to do, like Google. They try a lot of things, but they never take off. And then the things that you want them to do, like Murdoch, Half-Life 3, question mark, you never get. So, it's very interesting. I don't know how well it will be received. I don't know how much support that it will get. I know I saw people talking about it, like it will be able to run some third-party software. Like, I thought about it. I'm like, man, that would be really awesome to be able to have like a portable device that I can play Overwatch on. I can play Overwatch on my Switch, but it's very limited. If I can play a PC version of it, but it's portable, that's different. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I don't have mouse and keyboard and all of that, but it's very steep for a handheld console. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The base model is more than the Switch OLED that's coming out. And I'm glad that they're doing the micro SDs like as expansions, because it's like, you think about Warzone's like 200 gigs.
Yeah, and that's on PS4 and Xbox One. It's 300 gigs on the I think is it 200 or is it 3? Anyway, it's a lot more on PS5 and Series X for sure.
Yeah, it's big, and I want this to be awesome. I'm hoping that it's awesome. I just look at, they're not the only one. Razer has tried to make, portable PC gaming kind of stuff like in years past and everything. So it's like this is not an area that's, brand new. People have tried it and it just never takes off fully. So Valve, can they do it? Possibly. Like if anyone can, I think they have the best chance. It's just if they will put all the cards on the table, will they actually make it work? I don't know. So
will they actually back it, or will they just put it out and basically like, here you go, and that's it?
Yeah. Baron put this in there, and this is very interesting. Valve should just buy Atari and use Atari name to bring back a third gaming console. I think that would good because I know Atari is trying to make a new console right now. So having a way to, go around that would be good. And then he follows up, imagine a new retro-like console that has deep pockets and its own OS through Valve with Atari's name. That would be groundbreaking. And like, I know a lot of people that, that are older and everything, like Atari still resonates as a gaming company, a gaming platform. It would be a great way, to bring back Atari and not just like have it where people are like, why are you doing this? Because that's how I feel about Atari right now. It's like, why are you even trying? Like, you've been out of the game for so long. Like, you're not, I'd get the KFC computer over the Atari, keep my chicken warm.
Fresh.
Yeah, gotta keep it fresh. Speaking of keeping it fresh, the Legacy PlayStation news segment starts now. First up, rumor Sony's next State of Play is set for mid-August.
Yeah, and we talked about it last week that was it Herman Holtz or was it was one Sony rep saying, expect maybe at least one more, maybe several more State of Plays later in the summer. Sony's most recent State of Play event showcased some exciting upcoming releases from third-party developers and more incredible-looking gameplay of Deathloop. But it wasn't exactly the big E3-style State of Play people were hoping for, though a rumor now points to that coming during the middle of August. Business analyst Robert Serrano tweeted out today that what could potentially be the full details for the next State of Play, which is set for August 12th at 4 p.m. Central Time. The tweet also claims that the event will be focused on updates for Horizon Forbidden West, God of War, and the next generation of PlayStation VR, and more. You can check out the tweet for yourself, and it gives just like pretty much that. While the timing does seem to be right, the details of the event do sound more suspect. However, what strikes me as most odd is the mention of God of War, since that was recently delayed into 2022. It feels unlikely we'd hear more from the team at Sony Santa Monica, though I'd love to be made wrong and get to know more about Kratos' next adventure. Of course, none of this has been confirmed by Sony, so it should be all taken with a grain of salt.
Have you ever seen a salt block, Derek?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I feel like anytime we talk about like potential Sony stuff. It's like you better get your salt block out and start licking it, because with all the patents that we covered and everything. Do I want to see God of War? Yes.
Oh yeah.
I want to see God of War more than anything else. Of course, I think we will get more Horizon. I don't think we get a ton because we did get
a 20-minute state of play focused solely on that.
I think we get the date. That's what I think we get. We get a little pop and we get a date. If we don't get a date, that makes me feel like we might not get it this year. You know what I mean?
If we don't get a date, if this is true and we don't get a date, then it is for sure next year.
Yeah. So, I'm curious to see.
And who knows? That could be the breaking news. That's like, hey, we had to delay it, guys. Like we were aiming for this year, but looks like it's gonna have to be next year.
And that's fine. Like we say all the time, I'd rather have a game that is delayed and good than one that is rushed and bad. Like I'm fine with that. Murdoch, they better add God of War. Like I can't wait to see more of Ragnarok.
I even if it's a CG trailer, I'm fine with that. I just don't want to see another logo. Like the only thing we got from God of War is just the logo and the name. That's it.
Yeah. I want to see like what's going on. Like I want to see, Kratos and boy. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. So yeah.
Yep.
Moving.
Side note, did you see the voice actor Chris Judge is going to voice Black Panther in the Wakanda expansion for Avengers?
Ooh, no, I did not see that.
Yep, they announced that today, I think. So I'm just like, another reason to get back into Avengers.
Yep.
I like it.
We need to play sometime. Moving on.
We do.
Multiple PlayStation exclusive games are reportedly heading to PC, claims a data miner.
Yes.
How would you say it?
Tomato. I say data miner, but I've heard it pronounced both ways. So it's like tomato. It is what it is. Sony is reportedly bringing multiple PlayStation exclusive titles to the PC, according to reliable data miner Lance McDonald. While unfortunately it doesn't look like there are any plans to bring Bloodborne to the PC, he did say that multiple PlayStation exclusives will be making the transition to home computers. No games were explicitly named, but it's still interesting to hear nonetheless. On what he had to say, quote, "If Bloodborne gets announced for PC, I'd love to smugly say I secretly knew about all this. But it would be a lie. I am aware of multiple upcoming PC ports of PlayStation exclusive games, but sadly none are Bloodborne. However, I still hope it'll just come out of nowhere. For some reason, a lot of people actually genuinely think I secretly know about unannounced Bloodborne projects. I keep searching for info and looking into all the fake leaks and rumors, but sadly there's nothing that I found so far. A number of, and of course, it goes on to talk about the ones that have already been ported to PC. So, and it goes, again, all of this lines up fairly together, right? Like they talked about since the beginning of the year. It's like, hey, Days Gone is the next exclusive to become to PC. We want to ramp up PC ports more. We want to do this. We want to put out more than just one, maybe two a year.
Yeah.
And then they buy Nixus a couple weeks ago, which is a PC porting specialist. And so it's like the chips are all falling into place, as they say. And it's just like, I wonder what they could be up to. Like, obviously, I think some locks are going to be Last of Us, whether it be part 1 or part 2.
Yeah.
I think God of War 2018 is a lock. Some people have ported to Uncharted 4, and I'm like, what about the Nathan Drake collection? Like, why would you put 4 before the first 3? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Uncharted, the collection makes the most sense on that end. They could even bundle. I don't know if they would bundle Last of Us. Like, I think they would do them separate. Like, in my mind, it's like, okay, you could bundle them, but Last of Us 2 is so fresh. It just came out last year. I think, they keep them separate. But, this is a way to get, gain more audience and everything. And like you said, they've already bought a company that, developers that port. So it's happening. So I'm excited. I'm excited more people getting to experience these stories. That's one of the reasons why I buy a PlayStation, is to experience these. And, them being much later, after release and everything. It's not a day and day. It's like a year after. I'm fine with that. I don't mind. Yeah. If it was day and day, I might have a little bit more problem with it,
Yes and no. I mean, tomato, but I mean, you definitely want to get it in as many gamers' hands as possible, because 1, it's more revenue for the company, and 2, more people get to experience a great game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't want them PC Master Race people getting their hands on gems like Ghost of Tsushima before me.
I know.
Poking.
Before you're able to beat it, right?
Yeah, I got to get all that data.
Yeah.
Murdoch's over here, data. There's no Y in it. But you know what? There is a Y in Sony. Sony has done a nice job with the DualSense controller, says Phil Spencer.
Yeah, and he actually did an interview with Kinda Funny this week. So he sat down and he was talking about Microsoft executive Phil Spencer has sprinkled praise over Sony's DualSense controller, saying the format holder has done a, quote, nice job with the PS5 pad, and hinted the Xbox manufacturer could update its own controller. Speaking on the latest Kind of Funny Gamescast, Spencer didn't hide the fact that Team Xbox is obviously quite impressed with the DualSense, but doesn't reckon there's any more bespoke accessories coming from Microsoft just yet. Quote, we're definitely thinking about different kinds of devices that can bring more games to more places. That's probably some work that we'll do. There's probably some work that we'll do on the controller. I think Sony's done a nice job with their controller, and we kind of look at some of that and think there are things that we should go do. But we're probably not in the more bespoke accessories place right now. We just look at what happens on Windows and other places and see if there's a unique opportunity for us. Right now, I don't think there's anything that's obvious to me. So we've said time and time, it's nice that Phil Spencer's giving praise
Yeah.
to Sony, because I know you only got to experience a little bit, but as someone who owns a PS5, the DualSense is pretty much hands down the best controller they've done. Like, all the features they've added in with the haptic feedback, the motion detection, the trigger feedback, the audio quality, like, is just great in that controller. Like, we just saw, what was it, last week, that they've added on what was it, Assassin's Creed Valhalla added DualSense capabilities on PC, and I think you'll see more and more games adding DualSense support for PC games. So it's a really great piece of tech, and I think they're going to look at that. I don't know. Like you said, they're not right now in the mind space to put out more new accessories right now, to do an accessory refresh. But I think maybe 3-4 years from now, or definitely by the next time if they do a new console, or if they do a mid-generation refresh with the console, the Series X and S, we could see a controller update then.
Yeah, I think the earliest you see something like this is 2024. Like, I think that's the earliest, like, to be able to work out all the bugs, make sure everything works. I don't think it would be backwards compatible with older games. Like, it would work, but you wouldn't have like because they're not developing for that, the haptic feedback and all of that. And I'm glad that Phil Spencer is seeing, like, hey, this is a great piece of tech, and that's one of the things that I love about Phil Spencer is he recognizes game for game. You know what I mean? Like, he respects that. And
well, he's a gamer himself too, so he understands, like, look, this is nice for gamers.
Yeah. And he's not just a shirt, you know what I mean? He is a gamer, so he understands the nuances and everything. I would love to see Xbox get something like that as well. One of my favorite controllers of all time is the Xbox 360 controller. I have played with that controller so much. The PS4, I like the PS4 controller, but the PS5 controller is like, all the features like blow everything else out of the water.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Dan said, and maybe part shortages will be over by then. Hopefully.
One can hope.
You were going to say something else?
Me? No. Well, I was just going to make light as, like, come on, man, you're forgetting the best controller out there. The McDonald's toy PS3 controller.
A Mad Catz controller. Those are great too.
Yeah. So
have you ever bought a Mad Catz controller back in the day?
Yeah, I bought, was it for PS2 or Xbox? But I bought one of those red Mad Catz controller, and it was nice for a moment, and then I realized, this is trash.
Yeah, it's like you buy one, you're like, oh, I need a second controller. You buy a Mad Catz one. We had one for the PlayStation 1, and it was like, 2 months in, just destroyed. Like the D-pad. Yeah. You remember, like, the D-pad wasn't like built into the controller. Like, it was like, it like had its own like thing, and like it just snapped off.
It felt like I was about to say, it was like a cheap snap-on attachment.
Yeah. Those days. Dan said he had one for a PS4, PS1. Yeah. Mad Catz. They're mad about crappy parts. Speaking of parts, Gran Turismo 7 studio partners with Fanatic for GTA branded peripherals.
Yeah. So Polyphony Digital, the developer behind the highly anticipated Gran Turismo 7 on PS5 and PS4, has partnered with Fanatec to develop a number of branded GT peripherals. Details are pretty thin on the ground right now, but the press blurb reveals that Fanatec's goal is to, quote, reduce the distinction between sim racing and real world racing. In addition, a GT branded Fanatec wheel managed to leak online earlier this week and was confirmed to be compatible with PS5 and PS4, however, Fanatec's Thomas Jackermeyer revealed that the company was several exciting projects in the pipeline, so there's obviously more to come from the partnership.
You know?
So I know racing games always breed like everyone wants a steering wheel, and then it came to shifters and pedals and whatnot, and some even build like a whole like gaming rig set up like a chair or whatnot, like a cockpit sort of thing. So it's interesting. Like racing games, I know I'm not the biggest racing game person, and like I'd rather do like derbies or like Forza Horizon and just like drive around. Like I'm not someone who does like race to race to race. So, but it's fun. It's fine. People will buy it. Hopefully it's not overly priced.
Yeah, like it's funny. I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and there's a guy in Pensacola that's selling like one of those cockpit, like kind of racing setups and everything. And I was just like,
yeah,
that's dope. It looks cool. I couldn't spend that money on something like that.
Nope.
Couldn't spend that money on something like that. But what I could spend some money on, Derek?
Another Spider-Man game?
Oh, yeah. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 possibly teased by Miles Morales mocap actor.
Yeah, it's sitting there like they're putting up his mocap stuff, and he's like, "Oh, it's shooting right now," and it's like, he probably we think he dropped the ball. They haven't officially announced Marvel Spider-Man 2 yet, but the motion capture actor who portrays Miles Morales in the video game has teased that it might just be in the works. Interestingly enough, actor Najee Jeter quickly pulled the image off his Instagram page, which suggests he may have let the cat out of the bag too early. There wasn't much to see. It was simply a host of of him in a mocap suit, but it's still worth speculating about nonetheless. This isn't the first time we've heard murmurs about a direct sequel to the Wall Crawler's superb 2018 outing, although that was before we got confirmation about Spider-Man Miles Morales. So, obviously, it's been said that Miles Morales isn't the direct sequel. It's pretty much in a shared universe. Especially after only being a couple years removed from 2018, I don't think they were ready for that fast of a turnaround. But we know Spider-Man 2 is coming. It was too profitable for Insomniac not to do a sequel.
Yeah, and I'm playing through Spider-Man Miles Morales very, very slowly on stream right now, but it is a really good game. It is like it takes what we got in 2018 and just shows it in a different light. Like Miles has different powers, different personality, the app, like they've improved the things that I didn't like about Spider-Man 2018, which was very, very small things. Like doing the crimes were one of them. Go ahead.
Right. Real quick, I'm gonna have to reboot my computer, so you continue on your diatribe about Spider-Man real quick.
Okay. So while Derek fixes his computer, with Spider-Man getting a second one, like I'm excited. Dan said another Spider-Man leaking spoilers. Like these young whippersnappers are spoiling everything, talking about Tom Holland and everything. But with Spider-Man Miles Morales, only like I said, I've only been playing probably like 4, maybe 6 hours so far into it. Like it is an improvement on the first game, which was fantastic. Like being able to like find the crimes where it's not just like when you're swinging around or web slinging, swinging, whatever you want to call it. Like you can find the crimes like in your app, as well as you're swinging around New York City, you still get those times where you find a crime going on. And the update of like, he's got different powers. He's got this venom thing. I really like it. And he's got his own support system and everything. So I'm curious to see what Spider-Man 2 is going to be like, where both of them are in New York at the same time. Are we going to get more co-op? Is that something that y'all would like? I know we got some people that have played Miles Morales that's watching and everything. Would you like more co-op? Because I know in the very first mission of Miles Morales, you did get some co-op between the two. But having Miles at that point being more, on the ball, understanding all of that, I'm curious to see if that's something that we get moving forward, like having that kind of where, he's actually not letting Rhino out and a bunch of prisoners and everything. So we got Derek back, y'all.
Hey, I'm back, everybody. Sorry about that.
Welcome back.
Again.
So I was just saying, with Spider-Man 2, both Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Miles Morales, like at that point where 2 comes in, like both of them would have had worked together. It's not going to be his first outing or anything. Do you see it being more co-op where you can either, swap between the two, or where missions, some things are Peter Parker, some are Miles Morales, or do you think it just sticks with Peter Parker?
I don't know, because the co-op thing is going to be interesting, like whether you can have someone else join. I do think we do get the balance with a special balance, like, certain sections you play as Peter, certain sections you play as Miles. I know we got a taste of that in the last game, but I want to see it more fleshed out, especially now that Miles has his powers. I don't know. I know it would fall in line with Sony's vision of doing like more multiplayer or more like online centric type of games, and like taking a single player like story adventure game and adding a co-op feature, and it would be cool, but I don't know if it would hamper, because Far Cry did this like story co-op thing. I think it was Far Cry 4. I forget if 5 had any of them, but I know 4 started, but you could only do the open world. Like you couldn't do any single player missions. Like you could go do Outpost, you could go do this and that, but if you were playing like a main story quest, it was only of one player. So I don't know. Like the world is the Insomniac's oyster at this point, like especially after Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart doing so well. We'll see. I think they'd be more inclined to do, because it's not too much of a spoiler, but with Rift Apart, there would be certain sections you play as Ratchet, there'd be certain sections you'd play as Rivet, the new Lombax. So I could see them doing more of that style of gameplay where it's between Miles and Peter, but we'll see. Only time will tell.
And the only thing that I want to add to that, and then we'll move on to the next topic, is I don't want them to sacrifice the story that could be told by focusing on one of them to shoehorn having both of them, because you can make it where it's too thin, if you know what I mean. Like I want both of them in there. I want to be able to play as both of them, but if the story doesn't make sense, then I don't want that to happen.
So, and I think they realize that, especially after how successful both 2018 and Miles Morales have been. So I don't think they want to compromise the story aspect of it at all.
You know what didn't compromise their story aspect at all? Because it makes no daggum sense. Death Stranding's director cut has added a very hard mode. Very hard.
And you can go to the next one too.
And Kojima is not overly keen on Death Stranding director's cut being called a director's cut. How pretentious.
Right. Like with the very hard mode, like it didn't have any really details other than just like, hey, we're having a very hard mode in the director's cut as well. There were certain, like, from what I played of Death Stranding, there were certain, like, stealth sections which it was already hard, and it's like, you want to make it more difficult for me. Like, you're definitely making this very Metal Gear-esque Kojima, and I don't, obviously, I'll play on the difficulty I feel comfortable at, but at the same time, it's like, why? Why would you do this? But to address, because it is kind of pretentious, and it's like, why do you care so much? But, Death Stranding Director's Cut is coming out for PS5 this September, but creator Hideo Kojima isn't too fond of the fact that it's actually called a Director's Cut. Why? Because it doesn't actually contain cut content. Speaking on Twitter, Kojima noted that the game will feature content that was produced following the release of the original version of Death Stranding, as opposed to things that were removed from the game in time for release. Quote, a director's cut in a movie is an additional edit to a shortened version that was either released reluctantly because the director did not have the right to edit it, or because the running time had to be shortened. In the game, it is not what was cut, but what was additionally produced that was included. Director's Plus. So, in my opinion, I don't like it to be called Director's Cut. Regardless, I think he's just kind of splitting hairs. Like, I get where he's coming from. At the same time, look, why are you caring about what it's called when it's going to just put money in your pockets again? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's just semantics at this point, but
yeah.
It is clearly a marketing device that Sony is using with its games.
Yep.
That it's falling under each one of them. Like Ghost, we're fixing to get to, like, it's doing a director's cut. It is adding to it. But it's essentially DLC, just like this is adding DLC.
Again, like, if you add it, I mean, if you think of it later, like, yes, it's not content you had to cut. At the same time, it wasn't originally in the game from the get-go. You thought of this after the game was already done. So, tomato,
Yeah, because like they're adding actual story missions, things to, flush out that. It's not just, vehicles or the racing thing, which still doesn't make any sense to me, is why they're adding racing to this game.
Kojima always has to throw one weird thing out there.
Baron said, do they add more Monster Energy drinks in the director's cut? Probably so much that they've replaced the blood of Norman Reedus with Monster Energy drinks and renamed him from Norman to Kyle. He's now known as Kyle Reedus.
Right.
As I mentioned, Ghost of Tsushima director's cut Iki Island to reportedly add 15 to 20 glorious hours of gameplay. Maybe I can milk 60 out of it.
Probably. Only if you play like once a week every 4 weeks. But no, according to a quality assurance tester, the upcoming Iki Island featured in Ghost of Tsushima director's cut will add about 15 to 20 hours of gameplay into the mix. Speaking in a post on Reddit, the tester went into a fair bit of detail about the new island featured in Sucker Punch Productions' re-release of its epic samurai title. In addition to the actual length, they claim the size of the island is roughly the same as the bottom half of Tsushima Island and is home to the new wildlife, including monkeys, leopards, and squirrels. Elsewhere, players can expect to encounter new shrines, new compositions for your flute, and new Mongol enemy types. Torches have also been added, but there's heavy armor sets to acquire, as well as 3 new horse armors and dozen of extra charms. The tester also discovered a new fighting stance and fresh upgrades for swords and bows, and there's also a volcano located on the island to boot.
I can't wait.
I know. If this, even half of this is true, it's going to be great. Like, when I saw 15 to 20 hours, I'm like, I know people are up in arms. It's like, oh, why do I have to pay $30 for a game that was already $60 and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, if it's adding 15 to 20 hours and adds a lot of content that was already discussed, it'll be well worth the $30 extra you have to splurge. And even if you don't have it already, if you pay the $70 or the $60 for the PS4 director's cut, it's going to be well worth it regardless for all the content you get.
Yeah. Like, I can't wait. Like, I'm finishing through it. We talk about this each and every week, but getting more. I can't wait.
Yep.
So yeah, guys, there is the gaming discussion for the week. We're going to get into the quick hits. We got a lot of quick hits. I hope Derek, do you want to take another sip from the stein of glory before you get these quick hits? Because I don't want you to be like Conor McGregor and breaking your leg out here, just, twisting around like a clown. Like a
did you see the thing where he said, by the way, not to get off on that tangent, he already had stress fractures going into the ring, and the doctors could have said, or what was it? He pretty much put it in the doctor's corner, is like, they tried to tell me not to go in the ring, but I just said no, I want to fight this guy. And it's like, dude, just stop it. Like, you lost, get over it.
Yep. Yep.
But anyway, hitting our quick hits. Black Ops Cold War's Mara de Toten Zombies update is out now. Following that, it's going to get Cold War will receive a free trial from July 22nd to the 29th. Marvel's Avengers adds white Black Widow outfit from the new film. Apex Legends Thrill Seekers event is going on now through July 27th. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania confirms slow motion feature. Bloober Team debunks Silent Hill concept leaks, confirms 2 new games are in development. The Knight Rider car returns in Rocket League. Fan favorite sim Agnes Crumplebottom returns to punish romance in Sims 4 Cottage Living add-on. Deathloop PS5 exclusivity to last at least until September of 2022. Genshin Impact cross-save update will be out on July 21st. The Witcher 3 is getting DLC inspired by the Netflix show with its PS5 and Series X and S updates. NetherRealm and TT Games to remain part of WB Games. FIFA 22 will release on October 1st. You can now play as LeBron James in Fortnite. Crisis Remastered Trilogy confirmed for physical launch on PS4 and Xbox One this fall. Final Fantasy XIV's massive surge in players resulted in a shortage of even digital copies. Ghostwire Tokyo delayed until early 2022, excuse me. Just Cause Mobile delayed until 2022. Fall Guys Season 5 theme revealed to be a jungle adventure. Maneater Truth Quest DLC will be out on August 31st. Red Dead Online on PS4 playable without a PS Plus membership until July 26th. Company of Heroes 3 releases in 2022. Psychonauts 2 to add invincibility toggle. Minecraft Dungeons Ultimate Edition confirmed alongside the Echoing Void expansion to release on July 28th. Persona is teasing 7 major announcements for its 25th anniversary, with the first happening in September and spreading over the next year until autumn 2022. Battlefield 2042 crossplay is being worked on and will be split between generations, and technical playtest has been delayed until later this summer. Battlefield 2042 will always be online, including when you play solo versus AI bots. NBA 2K22 features the first ever WNBA player as a variant cover with Candace Parker, and Resident Evil Reverse delayed until 2022.
Man, a lot of quick hits there. Few that I want to just touch real quick with Deathloop. Deathloop getting pushed to at least September 2022. That's kind of surprising because they did have
no. It's not delayed. It's because it's a timed exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a timed exclusive. So yeah. No, you're fine.
That's really cool. I was meaning the other one. Ghostwire Tokyo delayed to early 2022. Yeah. Like that needs to be delayed for a very long time. It looked like garbage sauce. Like, the pull.
When I saw this delay, I'm just like, Zach's happy. Is like, well, that looked like poo anyway.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they're getting more time because that game would have been really, really bad. Final Fantasy 14. That is awesome because I remember that game launching and it being utter garbage, and they scrapped it and redid it and launched it again, and now it's been having success, but now people are leaving WoW because WoW is not making strides to.
They're remaking former expansions.
Exactly. Now Final Fantasy 14 is like, it's huge. Like one of the biggest streamers of WoW has left WoW to play Final Fantasy. Asmongold has left playing WoW to play this, and people are leaving in droves right now because there's nothing new to play there. I'm not saying that, WoW's dead, but this ain't helping them for sure.
Well, And because of those streamers, that's why you've seen such an uptick in the player base, and it's crazy when I said the digital copies are even sold out. It's like how?
Yeah, and people, people having a hard time getting through just like the character creation and everything. The next was Psychonauts 2 adding an invincibility toggle. This is, I know a lot of people like they've had the conversations of like Sekiro die twice or whatever it's called, like the difficulty stuff and like how a game should be hard and all of that, to each his own. I'm glad to see like this become a thing, not necessarily that I would use it, but it's, people don't have as much time or they've got more responsibilities. We're not as young as we used to. We, don't get to just play games 8 hours a day. So, having that as an option, hey, that's cool. I'm excited for that.
Well, and thinking outside the box too, or like just adding in this, like people with disabilities, like maybe you don't have as quick a reaction time, or maybe you can't move as the way the game wants you to. So it's like adding this invincibility toggle helps them enjoy the game too.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. And then Personas, all that announcement stuff. Who in the world still uses autumn as a like descriptor of time?
Right.
Like who uses that? Fall. I don't know. That one just stuck out to me. And then the Witcher 3 getting DLC. I saw that earlier. I think it's just cosmetic to look like the and everything. But hey, I'm glad that they're seeing the success of the Netflix show and wanting to bring that into, because there are people that are playing The Witcher that got into it because of the Netflix show. So if you bring that into the game, people are going to like enjoy that even more. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for us on this episode of the Nerd Cave News. Bunny Killer, Grega, the Bunny Killer. Grega. I forgot the name. Grega, the Bunny Killer. You did an awesome job putting together the news this week.
Thank you. So I only promise to try.
That's all we require here. And your social security, your blood type, and your bank account info. That's what we require.
And your soul.
Yep. And your soul. So guys, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure to hit that like button, share it with somebody that you love, and make sure to watch us live over on twitch.tv/nerdcavenews and support us over on patreon.com/the Nerd Cave and become part of the exclusive crew. You can be in the inner circle. You can come to captain's meetings. I'm the captain.
I'm the captain now.
Guys, we hope that you have a wonderful week. This has been Zach.
And Grega the Bunny Killer.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye. All right, guys.